If you're struggling to close deals, to book sales calls, chances are you're making these two major mistakes, and they're costing you clients, they're costing you money, they're costing you your potential, really. In this video, I'm going to break down the two biggest mistakes that's killing your sales calls and exactly how you can fix them step by step so that you can start closing more deals and ultimately hitting the targets and hitting the sales targets that you ultimately have for yourself. Mistake number one is not going below surface level with your questions to your prospects. Now, most coaches, they ask surface level questions like, what are you currently struggling with? What's your goal? And the problem is that everyone gives the same basic answers, and you don't you don't get to find out the real pain that makes them want to buy. Now, failing to discover the real reason that they want to buy is just going to create objections like, I need to think about it, or I can't afford it, or I need to check my finances. I'm pretty sure you've probably experienced these objections on a sales call and you've been like, why? Like, why has this happened? It's because you haven't dug deep enough or created enough urgency, which I'm going to go over. So how can we actually fix it? So we need to actually dig deeper first and foremost, and we need to ask more emotionally layered questions like, why do you feel like you've been struggling with X for so long? We can also ask questions like, how do you feel that being in this position has impacted your business, impacted your life, or even your relationships? We can also ask, what do you feel like will happen with your relationships, or even with your own mental health if you stay in the same place for the next 3 to 6 months? Now, the reason we ask these questions, obviously, people buy an emotion. So uncovering the real pain is key to making them take action. Uncovered emotion creates a need for urgency in the prospect's mind, and ultimately it causes them to think and feel the weight of them needing to change, which is going to lead to them taking action. Now, every emotionally loaded answer a prospect gives you, basically gets you closer to getting them to a point where they feel urgent and they feel like they have this urgent need in order to do something about this, like right now, like on the call, right now on the call. That's the level of urgency, and that's the level of emotional urgency we want to create in sales calls by asking deeper questions. Now, I've seen this sort of time and time again. A coach will do, this is mistake number two, but a coach will do a very good job at asking below surface level questions. They'll get the prospect to feel the pain, the emotion, which is going to lead them to wanting to change. Then what they'll actually do, and I swear to God, I've seen this happen time and time again, and it really makes me just feel a bit like, oh, what are you doing? And that is when someone completely ruins all of the hard work, all of the discovery in a sales call, and then they just go and pitch their service for like 2, 3, 5 minutes. Now, I've always found that with people I've worked with people I've trained in sales, their close rate significantly improves when they keep their pitch to a minute, even 90 seconds at the most, at the absolute longest. Now, why is it so important to keep the pitch this short? Okay, reason being, the longer you pitch, the more your prospect, like tunes out almost. Most coaches make the mistake of talking too much. They list features for 5 plus minutes. They overwhelm the prospect. They cause the prospect to go into a state of like information overload with, we're going to do this, we're going to have this training plan, this, that. It's a load of shit. They don't need to know this. And it sends them to an information overloaded state, and ultimately a state of confusion, which is where they've completely disregarded the emotion and just thinking about the product in front of them. And then ultimately that's what causes them to say, I need to think about it. Another thing coaches will do is they'll sell the functions of their program and not the end result that ultimately the prospect is there for. They have a deep craving for that result. And this is sort of where or what creates the objections, where people say they need to think about it, they need to ask their partner, they can't afford it, they need to go check their finances. The pitch determines if this even happens or not. So you're probably asking like, how can we fix this, Matthew? How do we fix my pitch? I'm going to just tell you, keep it short, keep it under 60 seconds, make it about them, okay? Talk about yourself the least that you can. Use the fact that the person has a problem that you want to solve. They don't want your service, your product, they just want to solve the problem. So an example of doing it like this or pitching in this way would be saying something to the extent of, now I know, name, that the most important thing for yourself is ultimately achieving X, dream end goal. Do you feel like that's correct? We're getting them to nail down their goal. Now we can say something to the extent of, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work one-to-one with you. I'm going to cover your training, your nutrition, but ultimately I'm going to work with you one-to-one to make sure that in the next 6 months you are in a position where you're not feeling, insert the pain, anymore, and you feel, insert the dream outcome. Then what I would do is I'd tie it in with a question to keep them engaged. I'd ask them something like, do you feel like that's exactly what you're looking for? Do you feel like that's exactly how you want to feel? Once they say yes, I'm going to get them to essentially sell themselves on this solution on the pitch. And I'm going to ask them, okay, perfect. Like, what about this do you feel makes it exactly what you're looking for? And they're going to literally tell you from the answer they give how you can sell to them. Once you've had that answer, I'm going to move on to the close. Now, what I'll probably say, what I would say is something to the extent of, okay, perfect. I love that. And I know that in the next 6 months, I will personally take you from feeling pain and completely transform how you feel so that you can achieve the goal and ultimately feel, insert the deep emotion. What I would do from there is go in for the close. So for us to work together one-on-one to achieve the ultimate goal in the next 6 months, it's just an investment, a one-time investment of X. Then I would probably stay silent until they give you an answer. Now, they're either going to agree and they're going to go, yeah, cool, sounds good, let's get on it. Or they're going to give you an objection, right? They're going to throw you an objection. It probably will be, I need to think about it. That's the most common objection in sales and people struggle with that the most. I'll get to that in a minute, but let's say for instance, they do need to think about it. We are now in a much better position to handle this objection due to the fact that they literally said that our program is the perfect thing for them to achieve the goal. And we can leverage this when trying to handle the objection, okay? Now, we can actually leverage this to find out what the true objection is, which is going to be finances. But what we can do is we can say, okay, you said that this program was perfect for you. Did you not? And they say yes. But like, okay, like, so just for my understanding, like, you mentioned the program's perfect. Like, I'm guessing it's probably the cost that you need to think about, right? Then obviously we can go into handling that. Now I'll go into that in a lot more detail on separate videos. So if you want to tap the notification bell to essentially know when those videos come out, the objection handling videos, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to go through this now just to save time. I've given you quite a lot of information there, so I want you to absorb that and not get distracted on objection handling when I'll make that in the future. So if you want to actually avoid these mistakes, you want to apply the quick fixes that I've given you here, take it away. You are going to instantly start seeing better results on your sales calls and you're going to close more prospects. Now, if you want to find out how you can work with me one-to-one to really fine-tune your sales process, to get you selling to the best of your ability, to get you set into the best of your ability, there's a link down below to a landing page. Look at that, look at how I can help, who I am, my results, everything like that, what people have to say about me. And if you feel like you want to book in a call to take your business to the next level, to take your business and your sales to the next level, you can book in a call. It's completely free. It's not a pushy sales call, even though I'm a sales trainer. It's not a pushy call. It's just a conversation. If I can help, if I can, I'll show you what the investment is. And if you want to get involved and you want me to come into your business and help, that's cool. If you don't, perfectly fine. The links are down below. I'll catch you in the next video.